How is it going, guys, and welcome back to another Skyrim video. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys about all of the secrets in the beginning of the game that you may need to know about to get you guys the best start. So the first thing is, I did decide to go with Rayloff. If you're looking at a purely gameplay perspective, the armor that the Imperials have sells for the most, so if you're looking for money specifically, choosing Rayloff is technically the better option, although it's not really that significant, but yeah. I do want to quickly address, I did do a video similar to this, where I showed off how to make 6,000 bucks within the first hour of the gameplay. So this is similar to that, except this is focused on not just money. So once you kill all of the Imperials, basically you just want to take all of the light armor, as it is the lightest, so you can actually carry a lot of it. And don't take any of the heavy stuff, because you won't have enough room. And even if you do, it doesn't sell for a whole lot. But yeah, just come back into this room, take all of the goodies. There's 4 bucks on the table, and then there's that chest which I just looted that has an extra key and some armor, and this one that has a random amount of money and also an extra helmet. So this chest, and then 4 bucks on the table. Normally, if you side with Rayloff, you don't have to come this way. That's just the way you come in if you side with Hadvar. But yeah, like I said, the heavy stuff has a very low weight. A very high weight but low value. So don't bother taking it. Unless you want to equip it, then of course take it. Alright, so in this room, there's going to be 2 more Imperials. Or Stormcloaks, depending on who you sided with. Just take care of them. This should be very easy, shouldn't even give you any issues. Like I said, take the light armor. And if you are new to the game, generally, the rule you want to follow at the beginning of the game is everything, you sort of want a value to weight ratio of 1 to 10. Meaning, for every 1 pound something weighs, it has to be worth at least 10 bucks. So this thing, for it to be worth me taking, it would have to be at least 60 value, because it weighs 6 pounds, and this weighs a bit more than that. Although, even though the light boots don't quite meet that requirement, it's not a big deal because they don't take up much space. So you can have a bit of leniency with that rule. Also, wine. Auto wine you always want to take because it has very good value to weight ratio. So in this storeroom, there's going to be some dried elves here, garlic braid, frost miriam, and another garlic braid. If you like alchemy, that's going to be good ingredients. Also, magicka potion, salt pile, another auto wine, minor healing potion, and in the cupboard sometimes there's money. Then there's obviously these potions, which are good. And you always want to search these sacks in case they have salt pile, which you can use to cook food or for alchemy. And also there's some hanging rabbit, you can ignore that. But there's also, in this basket, 4 rock warbler eggs, which is an alchemy ingredient that can be used with blue mountain flower to make healing potions. Right, so that's that room. So in this room, you're going to find a torturer and his assistant. If you're playing on any difficulty other than adept, this torturer might give you a bit of trouble, but he's easy enough. Also, fun fact, the Torturer's Hood, this only exists in Skyrim Special Edition and above. So if you're playing in Classic Skyrim, you can't actually get this, which is interesting. But also, it is actually better than the Imperial Light Armor helmet by 3. And in my opinion, it looks a bit cooler. In this knapsack, there's 4 lockpicks and a healing potion. Also, you should take this book as its value to weight ratio is quite good. And then in this kind of caged off area, there's also a shield which has bad value to weight ratio. So if you want to take it, you can. I think I will, just because 60 bucks is decent. And on the table, there's also 2 lockpicks by this book. I dropped it. But yeah, there's 2 lockpicks. Also, generally, you want to unlock all of these cages, because if you unlock every cage in Helgen Keep, it levels you up lockpicking 1 time, which is good early game XP. Unless you're the Argonian rate, because if you're an Argonian, then you have to break at least 1 lockpick to get that XP, because Argonians start with level 25 lockpicking, which is actually too high, for a little fact. See, level 21. Also, in this prison cell, there's a skeleton with a coin purse, and he should have some money and bone meal on him. Coin purse, and yep, money and bone meal. And then in the next room, there should be 3 skeletons, bone meal and money. This guy always has nothing. Money and bone meal, and money and bone meal. They don't always have money and bone meal. Sometimes they just have money, sometimes they just have bone meal, and sometimes they straight up have nothing. Right, so in the next room, another advantage to siding with Rayloff is that all of the Imperials in this room with the brown light armor have a bow and arrow. And the reason that that's an advantage advantage is because if you choose to side with Hadvar, only 2 Stormcloaks have a bow and arrow, meaning you get much less arrows, which is obviously bad. Alright. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, this guy appears to have reanimated. Okay, that's kind of funny. Fun little fact. After you beat this room, you can actually kill these 2, and they will have 0 consequences. So, if you want to use their weapon, which I actually do, I actually want to use two-handed on this character, you can, you know, kill them. I think I'm actually gonna use... Yeah, I'll use the Warhammer, because I never really use them. That guy's kind of freaky. Okay, almost done with Helgen Keep, I promise. Once you cross the drawbridge, the dragon's gonna make a little bit fall down on top of it. Once that happens, I'll show you. You can jump back down and it will lead you to a side passage with a healing potion, a skeleton with money on him, and also extra money. And then you can just follow the stream back out to the main path. Fun fact, you don't actually have to drop down the hole. More coins on that ledge, but I'm sure you aren't gonna miss that. So you can actually take out these frostbite spiders by sneaking really easily. I've done this like a million times, so I know exactly how to do it. Once you get to about right here, this little lip, 2 giant ones are gonna come down. So you can take out the 3 before that happens, and then once they jump down, do that. Alright, so there's 5 total and 5 frostbite venoms to use. Oh, sorry, 5 to take, which is a decent poison. It does 20 damage over the course of 4 seconds, or you can sell it. It has a pretty positive value to weight ratio. Now there's also 6, or I think 7 spider egg sacs with an alchemy ingredient in it, along with a desiccated corpse, which sometimes has a lockpick inside of him, sometimes he doesn't. So that's the second egg hatch. That's 3, that's 4. There's also 2 web sacs which have skeever tails inside of them, which is a decent alchemy ingredient. And then there's 3 more egg sacs up on this ledge, which you can take. Right, so one thing that not many people actually know about Helgen, like even a lot of veteran people don't know about this. When you cross the stream, you're supposed to go to the right to have the bear thing, but if you go to the left, there's actually a fire pit with a potion of health and an iron dagger. The reason I mention this is because potion of health has a really good value to weight ratio, even though it's a pretty bad potion that I would never really use. You can, you know, sell it. You usually want to wait for Ralof to finish giving this dialogue, because he will give you an extra 12 arrows, and you can just drop that bow. But also black briar meat, iron helmet, and some stuff in that cart. You can ignore the bear, but I'm gonna choose to kill him. So the reason I say you should kill him is because bear pellets are actually like a pretty rare item. The reason is, regular bears don't spawn once you level up to a certain bit. So if you need bear pellets specifically, like I know in the Hearthfire DLC, some houses require bear pellets. It is very specific to bear pellets, not snow bear, not cave bear, specifically bear. And a lot of the time, you don't have enough. But also, you can just use it for smithing. Alright, we just escaped Helgen. We're not going to put survival mode on, just for ease of, you know, making the video. Okay, freedom. So Ralof is going to tell you that you can follow him or go on your own way. We're going to go our own way. Let me actually save, because I haven't saved yet. So once you go down the path a little bit, there's gonna be some ingredients, like that blue and red mountain flower, and then also a thistle. Once you see the thistle, go this way, up the hill. The reason I say this is because there's a few locations we want to hit up before we go to Riverwood, and I'm gonna show you exactly where you want to go. So if you keep going sort of south, I guess, there's a few butterflies you can, harvest. Yeah, keep going sort of southish. You're gonna see this kind of cave-ish thing, this overhang in the mountain. And around here, there's a lot of bees that you can pick, like a lot of them. They aren't an insanely amazing alchemy ingredient, but it is one that you can use to make a decent bit of money with and get a decent bit of XP, so I recommend taking them. Especially because they're decent, but there's a lot of them. So, you know, the fact that there's just so much ups the value by quite a bit. And of course, the beehive, don't forget to loot that. Right, so at this camp, there's a blue mountain flower, always check sacks. These 2 are empty for me. A blisterwort, which is an ingredient that can make healing potions. There's also a healing potion, hide boots, a book called The Refugees, which is a light armor skill book. Along with that, you can also take a 1-hour nap, which will give you the rested bonus. If you sleep in any bed, you get the rested bonus, which makes all of your skills improve 5% faster. If you sleep in a bed that you own, like at an inn or at your house, it's 10%, and if you sleep in a bed with your wife, it's 15%, so keep that in mind. Once you open this chest, 3 bandits are going to spawn in behind you, so watch out for that. This chest has random loot. Oh wow, for me it was actually decent. Yeah, the beautiful thing about this is they are always bow bandits, so you get even more arrows. Let me just quickly loot these guys before I lose them. Even though Thor armor doesn't have perfect value to weight ratio, it's actually close enough that I will take it. Because it doesn't have to be super strict, you know. Thor shoes though, I am not gonna take because they are really bad. Also, a lot of the time, at least one of these 3 will have a hunting bow, which is the second worst bow in the game, above the longbow. So if you want a better bow, there you go. And if you're playing on survival mode, you might actually want to equip the Thor stuff, because it does have a better warmth rating than, I think, any light armor in the game. And I'm actually going to equip it, because I think it looks better than the Imperial stuff. Oh jeez. That looks fine, I guess. Alright, before we head back over the mountain, you sort of want to have a little peek down the road, because sometimes there's a random, unnamed Nord or Redguard or an Orc or whatever it may be that would try to intimidate you. It'll be like, oh, what are you doing out here, milk drinker? And then you can kill him, and then he gives you some good loot. But he is not there all of the time. I think maybe because I slept, that might be why. But yeah, you just want to head back over the hill and back on the path, and you're going to want to collect all of the ingredients on the path, because that's going to be insanely important for alchemy. That's if you want to do alchemy. You don't have to. It does give you thousands, and I genuinely mean thousands of extra bucks and a lot of extra XP, so it is valuable to do. But if you don't really care about that, then completely ignore all of that alchemy advice I keep giving. Alright, so after a little bit, you're gonna get down to the stone path, and at the stone path, you're gonna come across this kind of fork in the road. You're supposed to go that way, but we're gonna take a quick detour this way. There's 2 locations that we're gonna hit up. Location number 1 is this bandit camp. It's an unmarked location on the map. But this bandit camp is actually, like, really important. So if you take away one thing from this video, make this be the thing you take away. So fun fact, the iron helmet is actually the only piece in a full set of iron armor that has a positive value to weight ratio. Banded iron shields are close enough that I am going to take it. But one of these bandits... Oh wow, he got destroyed. One of these bandits will always have treasure map 1. If you open it, it shows you the location of a map of a treasure that's inside of a log across the river to the northwest of Riverwood. I'm going to show you the exact location, but you have to actually physically get the map and open it for the treasure to actually exist. So you do have to do that. But at this bandit camp, you do have a satchel with some loot in it, along with a black mage's robes, which has like insane value to weight ratio, and a skill book of one-handed. Right, so now that that's all done, go back to the road and keep going southwest, and you will find on this mountain a little shrine to the god of Talos. These worshippers sometimes they have money on them, but not always. Also, if you pray to the shrine, it removes any diseases you may have gotten. So if you got a disease from that bear, which is unlikely, but if it happened, you can get rid of it. Also, at the far end of this shrine, there will be a dead Thalmor soldier who always has these robes, which are very valuable. You can also disenchant them, but he also always has a healing potion and a random enchanted piece of armor, which you can equip, disenchant, or sell. I recommend taking to disenchant. There's also usually a wolf down the mountain. If you want to kill him, you can do that. And it looks like the wolf actually killed a deer or something. That doesn't always happen, but I will take advantage of that. Alright, so yeah, once you're back on the path, loop back to the intended route. And I'll catch you guys in 2 seconds. So once you get down to this bit, I just followed the path, for those of you who are new to the game. I know a lot of you, for a lot of veterans, this is like very obvious stuff, but I want to make this video as accessible to everyone as possible, so if I'm going over really obvious stuff, I apologize, but this video could be very intimidating to new people, so I want to be as thorough as I can. You're going to get to the 3 Guardian Stones, and depending on what class you want to play, you're going to want to pick this. Basically, a Warrior Stone gives you 20% faster leveling up for every warrior ability. Mage Stone is the same thing for magic, and the so on and so on. On the back of the thief stone, there's hanging moss that you can pick if you want. But for those of you who don't actually know which skills are which, just to make it clear, the way the game divides it up is by the background. If it's in the green sort of area, that means it's a quote thief ability. So everything that is light armor, sneak, lock picking, pickpocket, speech, and alchemy, those 6 abilities are thief abilities. Illusion, conjuration, destruction, restoration, alteration, and enchanting, those 6 are magic abilities. Smithing, heavy armor, block, two-handed, one-handed, and archery are warrior abilities. So just keep all of that in mind for when you pick your stone. Also, behind the guardian stones, there's a little fisher place. If you have a pickaxe, you can mine this, although I don't have a pick at this stage, and you probably shouldn't either, but you can mine that if you like. So if you have the Creation Club stuff, you can actually fish at this spot, and also there's a map that you can take for free that shows you the Falkreath fishing spots, so that's kind of cool. Stealing from this guy is a bit unethical, but you can do it. And actually, pickpocketing him, this guy specifically, is a good first practice because you're not likely going to succeed. But fishermen are some of the very, very, very few people in the game who will not attack you if they catch you pickpocketing them. You can also train sneak by killing him. You don't have to do that, obviously. That's a bit unethical, isn't it? And you can also steal from his novice chest if you fancy yourself a bit of a thief. Personally, I'm not opposed to stealing, so I will do that. Alright, so once you keep going down the road, you're gonna very quickly come upon a mine called Embershard Mine. And this is like the introduction to dungeons in Skyrim. So it's very easy, very straightforward, but we're gonna go through it and loot it, because it does have quite a few bits of loot that you are going to want. Oh, damn. So at this point, you might be slightly close to being over encumbered. Keep in mind, the stuff you want to be dropping is the least valuable to weight. Like the stuff with the lowest value to weight ratio, and then you want to work your way up. So for me, I'm going to drop this. Even though I'm not over encumbered yet, I already know that I will be soon, so I may as well get rid of that. So once you're inside of Embershard Mine, it is kind of a good idea to take 3 of these torches. Watch out for this trap that will kill you. So, yeah, it is a good idea to take 3 torches, because it can get quite dark. And also, they deplete pretty quickly, so yeah. There is fly amanita scattered around this dungeon. Fly amanita isn't an amazing ingredient, but it is money. Yeah, I'm playing on expert difficulty, which is 1 higher than adept, which is the default one. And these guys are no issue, so you shouldn't struggle with these guys very much. So once you get down to this bit, there's actually a pickaxe, and you can equip it and start swinging at this ore to mine it. A lot of people will say that if you do this, it's actually faster, and it is true that it's faster to mine iron ore this method, but you actually don't want to do that, because if you do it that way, sometimes it will bug, and the iron ore will not respawn. It's supposed to respawn every 30 days, but if you do it that way, it has a chance of not spawning, which is extremely annoying, and it cannot be reversed, so you don't want to. Unless you have the unofficial Skyrim patch, because in that case, it will fix that change. Otherwise, you know. But yeah, there's also another iron ore vein kind of hidden on the wall. And then down this path, there's an extra fly amanita and money. You can read this if you want, but you don't have to. Oh, to wine and cabbage. You don't have to take the cabbage. Pull that lever. And here we go. Oh, damn. So once you take care of these 2 guys, up above this ledge is actually a coin toss, and it's a fat one. The fat ones have more money. So there's actually some fly amanita and an iron ore vein, but I'm going to ignore it right now, because this lady is going to attack me. Right, so yeah, if you backtrack a little bit, there's 3 fly amanita and an iron ore vein that you can mine. And fun fact, this lady has an Embershard Mine key, which if you take it, it will unlock. Oh, I'm over encumbered now. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm gonna drop the fur armor because I'm over encumbered now. But as I was saying, that key will unlock this door and this door. So I'm not gonna take it because I actually want to get the lockpicking XP. Because it is helpful early game to get that extra XP. It is pretty helpful. And then I also usually do take the key afterwards just because I like to take it. So I didn't actually learn this until pretty recently into my Skyrim career. But this barrel and a lot of these sacks have a high chance of having alchemy ingredients in them. I never really looked into that much, but they do actually, which is interesting. This boss chest has random loot. For me, not very good loot. Yeah, see, dragon tongue, that's a decent ingredient. Potatoes, that sucks pretty bad. Salt, pretty good. Salt, pretty good. Alright, that spell tome clairvoyance isn't really great, but I do like to learn it anyways, you know, for completionist sake, I guess. Basically, I'll show you what it does. It's actually really bad. Basically, it shows you a path to the nearest objective, which is useful if you're new to the game, but even if you're not, even if you are new to the game, the compass would generally tell you exactly where to go, so that's a pretty niche item. It's kind of cool, I guess. Another iron ore vein right here, and then there should be another one right up ahead. And there's actually only 2 more in this dungeon. And the reason why it's important to mine these, even if you don't necessarily want to do smithing, is because they don't just give iron ore, they also have a chance to give you gems, which, as you can see, have really good value. But also for the smithing, of course. But if you don't want to do smithing, then this is a completely optional step, and you actually, it's not super bad if you choose not to do it. But yeah, a little coin purse right there, and then you can just literally jump down. Why can't I whip out my weapon? There we go. This lady's gonna be really easy to kill. And there's also a book that gives you smithing XP. This chest, I actually have no idea where the key is. I think this is added in by the Creation Club stuff, but there just is no key, so I don't know. Anyways, 2 iron ore and 2 iron ingots. Fly Amanita. And if you run back up, there's 2 more bandits that you have to kill. A 2-handed lady and archer lady. So I'm over encumbered again, so I get rid of that. And what else does not meet the value to weight ratio? I guess technically those don't, but I would like to keep them. Okay, I guess we can drop a few of these. Right, so before we do anything, you're gonna actually want to jump back down. I know it's kind of annoying. There's a fishing spot you can fish at if you want, but there's 2 fly amanita and an iron ore vein. The reason why I didn't mine this while I was down before is because you can't do it in combat, and you almost always get aggroed into combat before you can get close enough to mine this. So it's annoying, but there you go. But yeah, just head back up, and if you go to a left from this room, you can look through these barrels. They almost always don't have anything good, or anything extremely good at least, but it is worth checking on the off chance that they do have some salt. On survival mode, apples is like a really good food source, so you should always take it. But the real reason is because the amethyst, garnet, and ruby on this desk, and of course the chest, which has a little bit of random loot. Back out in the main room, there's some wine and a charred skeever hide, which is an ingredient. More salt in the sacks, and this way 2 more sacks, which I have for nothing. And if we keep going down this tunnel, you'll find a second to last iron ore vein, a locked chest, and a coin purse. Another lockpick for your little XP. Oh wow, that's actually, like, I've never got this in a chest before, but that's quite good. And I'm just gonna drop the rest of these boots because I can't keep hauling them around. Oh, also, I could eat 1 of every ingredient to learn its effect, which I'm gonna have to do anyways, but I may as well do it now to get rid of at least a few pounds of weight that maybe weigh me down. Alright, I'm down to 299. The reason, by the way, my carry weight is 315 rather than 300 is because every time you level up stamina when you level up, you get 5 extra carry weight. So that's something to note. On your way out, next to the bone chimes, there's 1 last iron ore vein. Okay, and that is Ember Shard Mine done. So quickly, before we go to Riverwood, I'm gonna take a short walk to the west, because there's usually 2 or 3 wolves, like literally right here, that you can kill if you want, and they'll give you wolf pelts. Sometimes they have like a gem that they swallowed, or like $8, but usually it's just 3 wolf pelts, and I do actually really want that. There is also a bunch of ingredients along the path that I didn't collect because we skipped this short distance, but that's not insanely important, so you don't have to fuss about that. It's only like 6 flowers, so you don't have to really, you know, be super nitpicky about it, but you can go back if you want to be thorough. Once you get to Riverwood, it's usually not nighttime when you arrive, but usually it's day, but you know, we kind of did this a bit awkwardly. I started with Raylarth, so we're gonna meet his sister Gardar. If you start with Hadvar, you can meet Alvor. I did a whole video, by the way, discussing the benefits and downsides to standing with each side, So check that out if you want to. It's literally the oldest video on my channel. But she will give you the key to her house and a bunch of really inconsequential items. You can take literally all of it. Sometimes there's a very low chance she will give you a enchanted ring or an enchanted necklace. I got kind of lucky. But yeah, just breeze through the dialogue. You can do this properly if you want. Once she's done yammering on, there is ingredients around Riverwood to collect. Specifically, these 2 fly amanitas by the stump on this mini island. And there's also a bunch of thistle around the village. I'm actually going to wait for it to become day so that the NPCs will be, you know, out and about. So this guy is Sven. If he's not walking around outside, he will be inside the Sleeping Giant Inn, which is that big building to the side. You want to talk to him. He's going to give you some nonsense about this wood elf Feindor and how he's trying to sweeten up to Camilla. Basically, he's gonna tell you to lie to Camilla, saying that this letter he just gave us is from Feindor. What you want to do, you can also accept this quest from Feindor. If you go to Feindor, he will give you the quest and tell you to lie about Sven. Either way, you want to go to the Riverwood Trader, talk to Camilla, and you want to side with Feindor. So if you say Sven wanted me to trick you, Feindor is gonna like you, so you want to choose that option for a specific reason. Sven, there is a reason to pick him, but it's just better if you choose. Also, while we are here, it's a good idea to sell off all of your junk. Keep enchanted items. Keep all of your enchanted items for now. So I actually have 2 items that have the same enchantment on it. These black mage robes and these novice robes. And in a situation like this, you kind of just want to sell the one that has more value, but they both have the same value, so it's not really of any consequence. Just thought I would mention that. But it looks like I actually took all of the money he has. Yep, there you go. Now you are broke, my friend. Thank you very much. He does have some spells you can, you know, use if you want. I'm going to buy a few of them because actually, I'm only going to buy one because I only wanted one of them. But now that he has a bit more money, I can sell off that. And I'll give him my frostbite venom because I don't want it. Right, you can also ask him about the did something happen, blah, 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 blah. That's not important to the video. Once you ask him about that, she's going to go, yeah, I need a guide. And she's going to go outside and wait for you. Normally, if she doesn't do that, she normally sits in this chair and looks at you. But if she does this, now it is much easier to steal from Luke and Valerius because he's the only one in the shop and he's facing that way. So you can quick save and just take whatever you want. Resist fire? Sounds good to me. Regeneration? Pretty good. And yeah, hides are very valuable. I'm going to be taking those. Coin purse. There's also $4. I did not mean to take that sword. And then few alchemy ingredients. And yeah, you can quickly run to the second floor. He's gonna follow you. Like he's gonna really quickly follow you, so you have to be quick. But you can really quickly open up these 2 chests and get the loot out of them. That's if you're not roleplaying someone who's against. I don't care about stealing. This isn't a roleplay account. Alright, and then you can just leave through the door. Right, so since we sided with Feindor, we can go talk to him, and he's gonna be really happy that we slimily, you know, convinced Camilla to fall in love with him or whatever we did. He's gonna give you $25, but if you make him follow you, then you can trade some stuff with him. You can get 12 free steel arrows and the key to his house. I'm not gonna take the key because I want to lockpick his house to get the XP. But yeah, you can get 12 free steel arrows. And then you can immediately dismiss him because he is more annoying than he is useful. But now that Feindor is your friend, you can actually go inside of his house and take almost anything. So yeah, an apprentice lock is more difficult than novice, but more difficult equals more XP, and I'm good enough at the game that I can reliably pick it. But yeah, normally all of this stuff would count as stealing if you weren't friends with him. But because we are friends with him, we can just take it. You could also do this exact same thing, but befriending Sven and taking the stuff in Sven's house. But objectively speaking, look at that potion, that was really valuable. Objectively speaking, the stuff in Sven's house is less valuable. Chicken egg is a very good alchemy ingredient. If you're playing survivor mode, salmon steak and seared slaughterfish is a good food. More alchemy ingredients. Is a hunting bow if you haven't got a hunting bow yet. And you can actually just take all of this and sell it to Alvor, even though the value to weight ratio is horrifically bad. The fact that we're not going to be carrying it for long means that it's not that important. Also, a potion of true shot and 2 saber cat pelt. The potion of true shot is good for stealing, or if you're a sneak archer, 20% more damage is good in the pinch. Alright, also really quick, inside of Gardor's pen, there's, I believe, I think it's just 1 chicken egg, which which is not much, but it is helpful. Okay, we are very close to being done in Riverwood. I think Alivor is bugged for me. I don't know why he's bugged. There we go. So I'm just gonna sell off that useless bullshit we stole from Feindor's house. Right, now is where we're gonna get to the smithing. All of these pellets we've been collecting, I'm now going to make into leather. And it doesn't actually matter if they're stolen. You can still make them into leather and stuff. Kind of silly, actually. Kind of funny. And I'm now going to make myself a set of leather scout armor, which is a Creation Club item. But it is like a lot. It's the best early game armor set you can get. Yeah. And I can't actually smelt my iron ore yet. That's soon enough. I'm also gonna quickly improve on it to give it just that little more. So if you want, you can actually steal this from Alvor and make iron armor, but I'm doing a light armor build, so we're gonna be doing it this way. So yeah, my armor rating right now with this current set is 55. That's fresh out of Helgen. Bandit equipment 55, and with this new set I am now up to 68. A solid like 20% increase. You know, nice. Aesthetically, it's not amazing, but it gets the job done. Okay, so again, make sure you have eaten at least one of every ingredient that you own. And the last thing, if I'm remembering correctly, the last thing to do in Riverwood is go to the Sleeping Giant Inn. Oh yeah, fun fact, now that we befriended Feindor, Sven is gonna be mad at us. Yeah, see, he doesn't like me anymore. If you talk to Orgnar, he has ingredients on him like Blister Warts, which is a healing potion ingredient, and Wheat, which is a valuable, very valuable ingredient. But most of these are pretty cheap, so you can just buy them. Just straight up buy them. Like 12 bucks is absolutely inconsequential to me. And so now you're gonna want to go to the alchemy lab and always save before you do alchemy or smithing. It's just good practice in case you fuck up. And just craft whatever is valuable. So starting at the top of the list, just go in and start crafting absolutely everything. It doesn't matter what the effect is. Dragon Tongue of Flight Emanate is good apparently. It doesn't matter what the effect is, as long as it gives you money and XP. That's all that matters. And at this early stage in the game, there's not too much you can actually craft. Even with all of the alchemy we've been collecting, there's still not much you can craft. But once you've exhausted all of your known recipes, just go into the ingredients tab at the top and just literally mix everything you have together blindly and hope it crafts something. And you will learn new combinations, and it will make you a little bit of money. So that's everything I can make with Blue Mountain Flower, so I'm just going to move down the list of Flight and Manita, exhaust all of these options, and rinse, repeat. So I have officially made everything I can. That's all I can do. And I leveled up alchemy a decent little bit, which is nice. Yeah, I leveled 23. I think we started at 20, so that's a nice decent chunk of XP. I'm already level 5, by the way, and I haven't even left Riverwood. So all of these potions are definitely going to be much heavier than the ingredients were when you had them as the raw ingredients. So you're going to want to sell them in order to refresh his inventory, because obviously we just shopped with him and took all of his money. You have to wait 48 hours. Fun fact, if you drag it all the way to the end and just press enter, it's going to tick down slowly. But if you drag it all the way to the end, press enter and then quickly drag it back to level 1, it's much faster. There you go, wait 48 hours and his inventory is refreshed and you can just sell more stuff to him. You can sell off your gems if you want, as they do have decent value, but you can also save them, because they weigh almost nothing, so it's not bad to save them. You can save them for making jeweled rings and necklaces, which are pretty valuable, and they also give you a lot of XP, so I recommend you actually do listen to that advice. Also, if you're not playing a mage, just sell off your magicka potions. You're not going to use them. And same thing with stamina. If you're playing a mage, you probably don't need stamina. Honestly, if you're playing as anybody, you probably don't need stamina. But yeah, I might save it. But now that he's out of money, I'm going to do the 24-hour waiting thing. This isn't really an exploit or a glitch. It's more like a cheese. So if you don't like cheesing, don't do that. But it is kind of how the game is designed, so it's not necessarily bad, but you know. I am going to keep the Resist Fire Potion because it's 20% and that's good against dragons. Resist Frost, only 13, so I'm probably not going to keep that. Alright, 2,800 bucks. Pretty solid. Alright, and there's 3 things left. 3 very quick things before I would consider the very early game to be done. Go back to the Guardian Stone. And yeah, like I said, this is the very early game secrets. There's so much in this game, it's unfathomable. But yeah, this video is going to be probably about an hour and 10 minutes of recording time, so you know, I can only include so much, right? But yeah, once you're at the Guardian Stones, you're going to want to go behind it again, sort of to the camp. But this time you're going to want to cross the river. And once you do, there's usually a wharf. Yeah, you can ignore him if you want, but I'm going to kill him. Because I do want to take smithing seriously in this save, so I will. But what you really want to go for on the compass, sort of to the north-ish, is that little cabin icon. This is a little location known as Anisa's cabin, as you can see. She's just a poor old woman. If you go inside of her house and into the basement, this is actually not unethical, and you will see why in a second. But all of the stuff in her basement you can just take, like no one's gonna see you. It's kind of hard to see, so I'm gonna whip out my torch. She has a potent paralysis poison and a weak poison. That paralysis poison paralyzes the target for 7 seconds. I cannot describe to you how valuable that is if you don't understand, but that basically can kill a very high level enemy for you at a very low level. So do always take that. Also, that barrel should have alchemy inside of it. A few more ingredients, an enchanter's potion, which is a decent use once you get to enchanting later on. And then this letter, once you read it, you will find out that Anise is actually a witch trying to make a little kid named Helgi become a witch as well. But the main reason we came to this place is for the arcane enchanter, which we're going to use to disenchant literally everything I have. Everything you're not using, that is. And right now I'm using none of those things, so I'm just gonna disenchant them. And that got me from level 15 enchanting to 21. Obviously good. And I got kind of lucky. A few of these enchantments are actually like really good. But yeah. You're gonna want to have your weapon out when you leave, because she is gonna be pissed that we found out that she's a witch. Thankfully, she's decently weak, and a little fox as well. That fox doesn't usually show up. She always has a potion and some valuable robes. Just be careful not to look at her disgusting old lady body when you strip her of her. Now that she's dead, you can take all of these ingredients with no consequences. Frostmirium, garlic braid, vegetable soup, which is actually a good item if you don't know. You only need 1 stamina minimum to do a power attack, and this restores 1 stamina a second, which gives you unlimited power attacks for 720 seconds. There's also a alchemy skill book. Okay, so once you're done with all of that, go to the east. It's kind of behind this tree. This is sort of hard to mention, to like exactly show where it is. But behind this tree, you'll find this rock, and then you sort of see down below the rock, there's this little cliffside thingy. There will be a deer skeleton with a flawless emerald in it, and as you can see, that's a very valuable gem. Alright, 2 last quick things. Once you go back this way to the north, there's going to be a clear opening. There will always be a random encounter in this area. For me, it's a couple of dead bandits and Tarsgal the Wanderer. Yeah, usually there's like a dead skeleton or like a dead villager of Stendal or a dead treasure hunter, but this time it's a couple of bandits and this guy. Don't talk to him, he's pretty useless. Right, the last thing. The absolute last thing. Remember how he said that there was a treasure map? Yeah, so just keep going this way and you will find a fallen tree. It's very big, you will not miss it. But in case you can't find it, you can always fast travel to Riverwood. And just go to the northwest of Riverwood, and you will find this big fallen tree. And like I said, this chest only actually exists if you physically opened up the map. Otherwise, it does not exist. Alright, that is the absolute last of it. Thank you guys so much for watching through the whole thing. I know that was a lot. If you guys are brand new to Skyrim, that should help you out quite a bit, as that is a very strong start to the game. And hopefully for the veterans, that taught you at least one new thing that you didn't know already about Skyrim. But yeah, I've been recording for exactly an hour and 1 minute and a half. For you, it might take an hour and a half or 2 hours to do that, but I consider that to be the early game. You know, that's about 1 PlayStation worth of content, unless you're a no life and you play for like 6 hours a day. Just gonna completely pretend like that's not literally me. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you guys did enjoy, drop a like, drop a sub. Stay awesome as always, and peace out.